Welcome back to another live feed. Into the next 61 Major League Baseball season, where it was the greatest feat ever performed. Why? Because Roger Maris, in the pursuit of Babe Ruth's season home run record in the baseball's first 162 game schedule, as Commissioner Ford Frick is determined to place an asterisk on any mark achieving at the 154 games, the former regular season standard. Those in the details, the fine print. From Roger Maris, an honest but hardened 26-year-old just trying to go about his business, that was advocate and be Ford Frick. Who's Ford Frick? He was baseball's third commissioner. He really looked like the first Kennesaw Mountain Landis will oversee two kinds of expansion in 1961. One would be the introduction of two new American League franchises, Los Angeles and Washington. The latter, a new soul improvement or replacement for the Minneapolis-bound Senators. The other will be the extension of the American League's regular season from 154 games to 162 games. Actually, will follow suit a year later. As the season began with the majors' first expansion of the century, there was no concern that any mention of how the longer schedule might play havoc with the record book. York teammates Roger Maris, and Mickey Mantle had both advanced an impressive assault on Babe Ruth's season home run record of 60. Frick, Ruth's former friend and ghostwriter, would make a sudden and controversial decision that rained on the parade. What would be the greatest year for Roger Maris would also double as the worst experience of his life. He was born in Minnesota. Maris grew up in Fargo, North Dakota, where he excelled in three sports: football, track, and baseball. He was offered numerous college scholarships, college football-wise, but chose instead to pursue a baseball career, not once be locked up in a classroom for another 4 years. Self-confident of his talent and stubborn as an ox, Maris was signed by the Cleveland Indians and relentlessly dictated his own path through the minors to the parent club, refusing assignments he felt were beneath him, then clashing with managers who didn't play him every day. After making a decent impression as a rookie in 1967, he was sent a contract with a $1,500 raise by Indians general manager Frank Lane. An insulted Maris sent it back to Lane, torn in half. Keeping a quiet yet studious eye on Maris all along with the Yankees, desperate for a left-handed pull slugger, and when the Indians traded Maris to the Kansas City A's, a team often stroked as both being the Yankees' top farm club, even the numerous trades between the two for which the Yankees always seem to get the better of. Thanks for those who are tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Get the barrel of many believe it was just a matter of time before Maris was wearing pinstripes. Sure enough, after a year and a chance change at Kansas City, the Yankees got Maris. The trade didn't sit well with Maris, who had happily settled with his family in Kansas City, had an aversion to big city life. The immense and often cutthroat New York press caught wind of Maris's opinion, but beginning a relationship that would be anything but congenial. But Maris won over the Yankees with his play earning American League Most Valuable Player honors in 1960 with a 39 homer, 112 RBI campaign that many considered to be a breakout performance. I had no idea. As 1961 began, the Ross New York media spotlight was pointed not on Maris, but Ralph Hawk, the team's new manager. Of the purging of senior citizen press favorite Casey Stengel. It didn't help Hawk that his team sputtered from the start. The Yankees struggled badly in spring training, was shut out at home on opening day by the Twins of Minnesota. Thanks for the person that hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel. The awful team, formerly known as the Senators, been by late May were barely over 500. Roger Maris was in sync with early Yankee misfortunes, batting as low as 208 with just 3 home runs through the team's first 28 games. Rumors quietly began swirling that Maris was headed for the Yankee trading block. Then Maris connected. Then he connected again. Then again and again. Over a 38-game span, he smacked 24 home runs, both in the head of Mickey Mantle, who had gotten off a flying start for the American League home run lead. It would be the beginning of a healthy competition between two teammates, both built out of admiration and respect for one another, one that would raise the ante and pull them away from other slugging contenders. who was back suddenly sprang to light in an expansion-aided round-tripper happy season. As talk illustrated of Rob Babe Ruth's record teetering on the brink of extinction, Commissioner Frank suddenly saw defense for the legendary Sultan of Swat, the 162 game schedule. He declared that any new home run record was fine with him, so long as it was hit within 154 games. Anything built that would be considered extra, not equal, opportunity would such be notated in the official record book alongside the old record with a distinctive mark. The Frick's decree sent off an avalanche of media response, and most of it actually in the commissioner's favor. Hit the like button. Thanks for hitting the like button. The second person, make sure you subscribe to the channel. But even those who agreed wondered aloud about the timing of the announcement, opening that an edict could have been made when the 1962 game schedule was introduced, instead of waiting until mid-season with 7 sacred records suddenly in jeopardy. Any denial of favoritism from Frick came off as transparent. The media intensity played differently on Maris and Mantle. Mantle was a player, and the press favorite who, for 10 years with the Yankees, knew how to handle reporters. Maris was a newcomer, the outsider, and not the kind of the youth-story odd kid who would roll in the countryside with an all-stress attitude. He was often reluctant to answer questions. He was blunt when he did respond, and sometimes verbally rebuked reporters for asking questions he considered dumb. In late August, shortly after Maris became the first player ever to hit 50 home runs for September, the usual ailments began to catch up with Mantle, and he soon faded from the home run chase. This combined with the Yankees pulling away from second place Detroit in the American League pennant, but enormous media focused rarely on Maris, who didn't need it. Without the NFL having the New York front office provide a buffer between Maris and the press, Maris was all on the front lines of the continued media squealing. His stiff-arm attitude, misunderstood or otherwise, only made it easy for reports to cast him as a villain trying to topple a hero's record. Stories were plenty of Maris and Merrill as warring rivals feuding over the home run chase, unaware of caring that the two were unequally growing together along with Bob serving in a Queen's apartment. The pressure became so intense that exhausted Maris spilled it on a nervous breakdown. The clumps of his blonde crew cut hair began to fall out. The man was only 26. Through all of this, Maris continued to hammer away towards 60. With Frick's distinctive mark in mind, people were less concerned about whether Maris would break the record as well as he would do it within 154 games. Maris entered game 154 at Baltimore with 58 homers. He sent one into the bleachers in the first at bat to close, then on a roof. 2 at bats later, he sent another shot with home run distance about 8 hooked foul. Next contact initially looked headed into the right field seats. He was blown it in, kept it short off the wall. It was Maris's best and last chance. Ruth's record within 154 games was safe. Suddenly, everyone laid off Maris. He knocked number 60 out of the park 4 games later at Yankee Stadium against the Orioles. And on the final day of the regular season, Maris hit the record breaker off of Boston's Tracy Stollard and into the right field bleachers. There was no stopping of the game, no ceremony. There were 144,000 empty seats at Yankee Stadium. Of the 23,000 others that was filled, none was occupied by Fort Frick. Yankees literally had to push a humble yet heavily relieved Maris out of the dugout to take a curtain call. Maris had his record, but Ruth still had his. Everyone was happy, sort of. 61 home runs for Maris served as more of an empowerment than a distraction for the rest of the Yankees. The 109 and 53 record was the franchise's best showing since 1939. The extra 8 games nearly allowed them to equal the fabled 1927 Yankees in victories. Next to Maris and Mantle, who finished the year with a combined 115 home runs, the Yankees as a team set a thin record with 240 as Bill Skowron, Yogi Berra, Elston Howard, Johnny Blanchard each hit 20-plus blasts. Ralph Hawk chucked away Case Stingle's platooning routine and allowed Whitey Ford to finally take the mound every 4th turn. Ford responded with his best year ever, setting career highs in victories, 25, winning percentage 862, and innings 283. The Yankees were so dominant, and thanks to Maris and Mantle, held such a monopoly on press coverage, the Cincinnati Reds must have felt like the general was prepping up for the Harlem Globetrotters when they came to New York to start the World Series. Any series the Reds had over the previous 10 years seemed to come courtesy of the power of hitting abilities led by a young slugger at the time, Frank Robinson. But it was pitching that so finally transformed his name to a pennant runner in 61. And finally, a distant six in 1960. Leading this stunning rise in the mound was Joey J., who led the National League with 21 wins, 20, only 10 losses, 21 wins against 10 losses. After never having won more than 9 in 7 previous years, at Milwaukee, 24-year-old lefty General True matured with the 1909 record 3.09 earned run average that was best among Cincinnati stars. The Reds came away with the split of the first 2 World Series games at Yankee Stadium, but that's as good as it got for Cincinnati. Moving on to Farsley Field, the Yankees got hotter with each passing game to dispose of the Reds in 5. Game 3 was decided in the top of the ninth, 3-2 when Maris hit his only serious home run. And the Yankees took control in Game 4 when they blanked the Reds 7-9 in New York, locked up the series in round fashion, and Game 5 was scoring 11 runs in the 5 innings before settling into a 13-5 rout. The carrying the team on their backs throughout the rest of the season largely ineffective Maris was 2 hits and 19 at-bats. Injured played. Mano had 1 single in 2 games, but was picked by the rest of the Yankees against the Reds. Was picked up by the rest of the Yankees against the Reds. Second baseman Bobby Wilson had his second straight outstanding series. The Yankees with 9 hits. Big out catcher Mike Legend hit 2 home runs and a double. Pitch 14 scoreless innings to extend his World Series streak to 32, breaking an old record held by Babe Ruth. People ultimately will grow accustomed to the 1962 and 62 game schedule. A short-term memory usually dictates a passionate argument over the longer schedule will subside. This will favorably look on Roger Maris' spectacular 1961 effect to the point that in 1991 Phil Flick's asterisk placed on Maris' 61 homers officially be purged from the record book. If there was a heaven, it was the only way Maris would know. He had died 6 years earlier of lymphatic cancer at the age of 51. So I'm done with this live feed. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Be back with another live feed shortly. Talk to you soon.